So end of March, guys. Everyone's got the new bikes, the new plates. Everyone's ready to head out on a ride. I know I am. Are you? Let's say you are. Let's say you got friends who have ridden longer than you. Let's say you got friends who are new to riding, but y'all want to get together and go for some rides. That's great. What we got to think about is group rides. How do group rides work? Do you go in a mass gaggle? No. There's things to look out for when it comes to group rides for sure. I think I have a couple that I want to point out just from what I've seen other people do, in the sense of things to be careful of and kind of look out for, because you want to make sure everyone's safe and everyone gets back after that ride in one piece, one full piece. I hope everyone likes the change in scenery. It's very dark. I think it's the first time I'm vlogging at night. I don't know how this looks. I hope it looks good. Hope you can see things. Jeez. So for group rides, there are a couple things to consider, right? Obviously, who you're riding with, how long they've been riding, what the skill level is, so on and so forth. There's, you know, a lot of different things kind of out there to kind of consider and think about. But I think there are three that you really want to make sure you kind of knock it into your head whenever you're planning one or you're going to attend one, right? I've seen one of the big things for me is spacing, right? When you go for a group ride, when you're riding in groups, you want to be staggered. You don't want to be lined up all together. It's just not safe realistically. Your stopping distance on a motorcycle compared to a car is very different, right? So what you really want to consider is that when you're staggered, you got one left, one right, you get about double the stopping distance, or you get at least, sorry, let me clarify, you get another motorcycle's worth of space for you to stop, right? Because when you stop, you're going to be stopping beside them, not behind them or into them. So it's preferable that when you ride, you definitely do ride staggered. If you're unfamiliar with the person in front of you, for example, you don't know what their skill level is, maybe keep a distance, maybe keep a bigger gap between yourself and them, right? You want to make sure you have adequate distance between the two of you. Even if you're riding staggered side by side, you don't want to be side by side to each other, right? When you're side by side to each other, what you gotta keep in mind is that what if your rider A, riding buddy, has to avoid something? There's something on the road, so on and so forth. They're not gonna have an opportunity to avoid that. Or when they swing into the other part of the lane, who's gonna be there in their way? That's right, it's gotta be you. If you're gonna stand right beside them. So you want to make sure that even though you're staggered, you're not right beside each other, but you're slightly further behind. Just a little bit safer that way, and it gives a little bit more of a buffer, right? Second of all, what you want to consider is everyone's skill level. Not everyone is at the same skill level, right? I don't believe I'm very experienced. I'm not an expert by no means. But I've ridden long enough that I feel like I know what to look out for, and I know what to be cognizant or aware of, right? Now when you have people who are slightly inexperienced, you want to make sure that when you're planning a ride, you consider that. Don't plan a ride just for your own skill level and take out a bunch of people who just got off their skills test, right? And they're coming on, highways and mountain roads with you. It's just not going to be safe realistically at the end of the day. It's going to ruin the fun for other people who want to go a little bit faster, but they don't have the space to. And second of all, what if this person is unaware that, they have to be careful of the turn that's coming up, right? If they're not aware of it, they're gonna take the speed that you think you're able to take it at, but you have experience and you have this knowledge of how to brake before the corner properly, so you can eliminate that speed before you hit the turn. They're not gonna have that. What they're gonna do when they panic, they're gonna get a handful of brake, they're gonna lock up the tire, and they're gonna have a very nasty accident, right? I once set up a group ride before, and I prefaced it before we headed out. Now, mind you, this was on scooters, not on motorcycles. We're gonna ride all together to a certain destination, and when we get there, we're gonna have a fast group and a slow group. Now, to me, this was important to bring up because I knew, there are dangers to the ride, right? If you have a mistake, you might slide into a ditch, get lucky, not really get hurt, or you could be like some other people who break bones, break arms, break legs, break backs, right? And if you're very unfortunate, you might have a friend who loses their life. I don't think any of us want to experience that, right? Fortunately, it wasn't a loss of life, but unfortunately, in our group ride, I did have a friend who was egged on by some other people, right? But unfortunately, as the organizer, I didn't stop them, and he joined the fast group. And near the end of the route that we were taking, he slid out because, again, he grabbed a handful of brakes, wasn't aware how sharp the corner was, went off the road, slid out, and he got really scratched up. Now he has scars from the accident, right? I personally feel responsible for that because I was the one who organized the ride, and when I saw that, or saw what was happening before it, I should have stopped it, right? So you gotta make sure that you set real expectations with your friends, right? And you also gotta make sure at the same time you understand that you're responsible for this group ride, for these people that go on the ride with you, right? So if you don't think it's wise, you say no, and that's it. Now, third of all is positioning. How are we positioning people during the ride? I personally prefer having the two most experienced people sandwiching everyone, one at the front and one at the back, right? This is assuming that you have a variety of a different variety of people, of riders, right? Going again from very experienced to this is my first year riding on the road, right? This way, they can watch the person who's very experienced and also have people who are very experienced behind them, kind of guiding them, giving them advice on what to do and what kind of things they need to change to ensure that they can ride properly or ride safer or ride more comfortably on the road, right? It's not even just purely about safety. It's about how comfortable can riding motorcycles be, right? And let's be realistic. You can YouTube, you can watch movies, you can watch videos about how to ride all you want, but you gotta get in the seat time, you gotta practice, and you gotta have some people giving you some feedback, right? Because that's the most direct thing that you can get that will help you improve the most. Now, another bonus thing is to consider when you're planning your route, don't just plan your start point and end point. Make sure that you actually look through the whole route. We've made mistakes like this before, where we thought there was gonna be an epic ride. There's gonna be a full day's worth of riding, not realizing that starting from the halfway point to almost the end, there was nothing but service roads, right? So you gotta make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position where you might be at risk because the roads or the location itself isn't necessarily prepared for the type of vehicle that you might be embarking your journey on. Yeah, so those are just a couple things. Make sure you're careful. Make sure you take care of your friends. We want nothing but more riders. so we can plan more epic trips. Trips. I want to go on a trip. Let's go on a trip. Let's go to Vancouver Island.